What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the Ghouls Gaming and Tech channel. We have another game here that we're going to be checking out to see how the PSSR 2.0 update affected this game. Now, this is God of War Ragnarok. If you don't know, this is a PS5 exclusive or PlayStation exclusive game. So we're going to be checking out the best settings for this game now that there's been years of updates and we have PSSR 2.0. So we're going to hop into these best settings really quick. As always, if you guys are new to the channel and you end up liking this kind of content, be sure to hit that subscribe button. It's definitely appreciated. And if you're new or returning, make sure you hit that like button. It's definitely appreciated as well. It's the best way that I and YouTube knows you guys enjoy this type of content. So if we go to settings right here, so aim assist, you have classic and you have classic plus. Classic, it just says points the camera to the closest target already relative to the aim reticle. Close plus says point the camera to the closest target to the aim reticle from anywhere on the screen. Now, I like the traditional classic because with classic plus, it's going to get a little bit locked on too much for you, and it's going to get kind of sticky, which is going to be annoying. Trust me when I tell you. And also, I always give a disclaimer with these videos. This is not the end all be all. If you guys have certain settings that you always usually put on for any game, feel free to do so. Puzzle aim assist, I turn that off. You don't really need it too much. I mean, you can kind of do it without it and you'll be just fine. Puzzle timing, leave that default. Lock on camera. So right here, we're going to explain this really quick. Classic says unlocks when a target dies or when aiming. Targets may break lock with special moves or if moving out of range. Auto target, it says locks on, persist while aiming and switches to a new on-screen target. After a target dies while aiming, flick to target other parts on some enemies. Requires target when lock is broken. That was a mouthful. Trust me when I tell you. Don't even go with that. It's a lot of things to remember. It's a little bit smoother when you're playing it. But anyways, auto target plus, it says adds off-screen enemy targeting. Now, this is good if you play on the highest difficulty level and you know you're like 1 or 2 hits away from dying. That's going to be useful in those settings because those enemies that are behind you, when you're already dealing with enemies in front of you, you can kind of better prepare yourself for that. But it's all different reasons. So if you're going to play on the hardest difficulty, auto target plus. But anything other than that, I would just suggest classic. Play style right here, auto pickup. So I like to always auto pick up because sometimes I don't remember to pick up health, and definitely when you get in a gunfight and you can kind of get some breathing room, some space from the enemy you're attacking, it's nice to just run to an area and he automatically picks up like a health stone or a rage stone or whatever it is. So that's why I put this on full. Interact, some games they kind of switched it to between X and circle. I'm not going to give you guys anything too crazy. I have it on just the normal X and circle, but you can change it to what you see fit. And then also mini game style. It says change the method used to complete mini games. I just left this as precision. It says move the L to a specified direction to complete the mini game. You don't need to make mini games too complicated. So navigation assist, I turned that off. You don't really need that. Repeated button presses, the tapping is fine. I don't want to hold it. Skill navigation is default. Traversal assist is off. Traversal is pretty easy. Tutorial mode all until you get used to the game, then you can turn it off. Reduce puzzle hints, I have that off. HUD acts reflect visual, obviously we want that on. Difficulty HUD visualization toggles on-screen text field that indicates the difficulty, game difficulty. You don't need that. Off. Controller visualization is able a controller input. No, that's too much. My main goal for these games is to be as immersed as possible. Obviously, this is a story-driven game, so I want to be as immersed as possible. Now let's go to camera or graphics and camera. So screen calibration, so you guys can see. Now, for reference, I'm using a Asus ROG OLED True Black 4K monitor, so it already looks great on my end. I don't know what you guys will be playing on, whether it be a TV, a monitor, or whatever the case is. So your HDR settings might be a little bit different. But HDR brightness, now I hover around this 50 area. So I would say my rule of thumb is usually 10 up or down for the HDR brightness. And then UI brightness is just how bright you want your UI. I'll probably put that on 60. And then here we go, graphics mode, PS5 Pro Enhanced. So this is where the PSSR stuff comes in. It says quality features enabled by higher frame rates, dynamic resolution favoring quality, targets 60 FPS. This is the PS5 Pro Enhanced mode. And it does take advantage of that new PSSR 2.0. So we're supposed to have a smoother, more crisper image, and gameplay should be a little bit smoother as well. Adjust rendering settings to favor either improved frame rate or higher image resolution. Default setting is PS5 Pro. So if you do have a PS5 Pro, obviously you're going to have that default setting. If you don't, you're not going to have that. And then high frame rate mode, this is just dependent on what you're playing on. If you have VRR, 120 hertz, whatever you have, you can turn this on if your monitor or TV or whatever you're playing on supports that capability. Film grain. I'm not a big fan of film grain at all, so I turned it all the way down to 0. Motion blur, again, I say this in every video like this. Motion blur. I like it on for role-playing, story-driven games, not FPS games. So I leave motion blur on 5 for this. I know people are going to say, bro, why do you have motion blur on? You don't know what you're talking about. Personal preference at this point. Scaling right here, PSSR I don't even know how to say that, aliasing. You have temporal anti-aliasing, and you have PSSR. Again, you're getting that PSSR 2.0 and everything that comes with it. So it says the PSSR and AI-driven upscaling that uses a machine learning-based technology to provide super sharp image clarity by adding an extraordinary amount of detail. So obviously you want to turn this on. Reduce flashing, I turned that off because I don't have any issues with my vision or flashes or anything like that. Camera, you can invert your controls if you like. I left that all the same. Rotational speed, I would move all these to 6. To be honest, it's a little slow for my liking. I like it a little bit more snappy, so I would just bump those up just 1. Not too snappy, but just 1. Audio and subtitles, you have your audio calibration. So right now I'm using some PlayStation 3D headphones. So that's what is enabled. And then you can do balance, quiet, or loud. Volume's all the same. I'm not going to go through that. Subtitles, I usually turn them off for any role-playing type of game or any game in general because the goal is to be more immersed. Same thing with captions. So that is all. So we're going to continue the game just so you guys can see what this realistically looks like. All right, this is not going to be too long. I just kind of want to show you guys what we're working with those settings. As you can see right here, the foliage all around us, the flowers right there beneath us, shaking in the wind, moving individually, which is great. You can see the snow on the fur. Each strand of fur kind of looks individualized, like, you know, they took time with each piece and it's not just a glob of stuff. The axe, the detail in the axe, let's look at, they're not letting me like turn the camera too much. All right, this is our character model right here. Beard, everything looks great. Tons of saturation in this image, which I like. All right, I should be able to turn. There we go. Now I can turn the camera.
I will follow. We are with you.
You got a light source down there. Again, when you're in a dark area, the darks are going to be very dark, and the lights are going to be very light when you get to a lighted area or a lit area. But yeah, the detail on the fur is just amazing. Nice ashiness on his head. I can see the veins in his head. Everything looks good. Now, this game did look great before, so you know, it's going to be nitpicky when you're trying to point out every specific thing the PSSR contributes, or at least the 2.0, because it already looked amazing. And also, it depends on what you're playing on. You'll more so see the PSSR 2.0 when you're maybe using quality mode or performance, because with performance, it's going to give you a crisper image, and then quality is going to make it run a little smoother. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it as always. I love you guys, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.